I think I'd mentioned to you earlier about this conversation I had with Mary Carol Moore about using because. We had been talking about the
Mm,
characters does this because, and I was applying that to the book I'm working on. And I did find myself in the situation where I needed to get a character from wherever they were to Baltimore for later plot purposes. And I thought, like, I don't really have a good because yet. And I started running through, just as the character would, I started running through what are all their options at this point? They could go to Baltimore, or they could just hunker down where they are, or they could hit the road without any particular destination in mind. And I realized that there was a perfectly legitimate reason for them to go to pick the Baltimore option among all these others. And so once I had kind of reassured myself of that, then I could go ahead with them going to Baltimore and then seeding in the appropriate things that make that among their all the list of things that they could do, the one they pick. But I think that moment where you say, wait, why are they doing that? Doesn't
yeah.
necessarily have to mean you're at the end of the road. It just means, well, you have to understand better yourself so that you can
Mm.
set it up appropriately for the reader.
And one way to maybe make this a little bit less daunting is to think about the fact of what building on what you just said, this is often something you see in editing and revision. It's not necessary. I mean, if you're writing and you just need to draft it and you just need her in Baltimore, just, she
Then he
decided to
goes
go
to
vacation
Baltimore.
in
Yeah.
Baltimore. That's good. Fine. Put it in
Yeah.
there right now.
Yeah.
Then later you can go back and take the time to do the digging. But if you stop while you're drafting, a lot of times you're going to lose your momentum. So don't worry about it. Leave the magical knowing in at that stage. But then, sort of like I was saying, I do as most of my job as an editor, go in and start poking your own holes. And when you find one, that's when you hunker down and you dig a little bit deeper and you try to avoid those coincidences, which is another sort of manifestation of magical knowing, where,
Oh,
oh,
convenient.
the very person she's been trying to avoid walks into the coffee shop where she is. And then you'll see, 20 pages later, the exact clue she's looking for is found in the coin she found in her pocket with the right date on it, or, that the barista gave her at the coffee shop. You string enough of those together and it starts to feel very devicey, and we see the author's hand. So just do what you said, dig deeper and find other more plausible ways of laying that groundwork. Put the brush strokes in. And don't worry about it so much in the drafting period. If you have to shortcut the whole thing in the drafting period to get to the end, do it. And then
Yeah.
you've got something to work with.